This week's podcast is going to be talking about goal setting and how that can help improve your general health in terms of accountability and your motivation towards your fitness. So a lot of people out there are able to go to the gym and just enjoy the feeling of pushing themselves, getting stronger and healthier, or just having a workout in general. That's not the case for a lot of us. So for a significant percentage of people, they go to the gym, one, because in some way, vague shape, they know that it makes them healthier. Maybe their friends are doing it, so there's a peer pressure to go and do that as well, or it's a social scene. What I'm proposing to talk about today, and in fact I'm going to talk about it, not just going to propose, is that we talk about goal setting. Now you've probably heard the term SMART goals, very common in corporate environments. And what it does is it actually helps revolve around setting a goal that is specific. So let me pull up the definition here. So a SMART goal, let's just make that a little bit, whoop. So SMART goals, SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. Now there's a website that I'm going to bring up in just a second which talks about these in a bit more detail, but we can use this sort of metric to really help your mindset, and it's going to help your physical results help your physical results as a result of. It will help your physical results directly by utilizing this method. Do you have to? No, but I highly recommend trying this. So with regards to goals, a lot of people say, I want to get, what's your goal? Weight loss. Cool. I want to lose some weight. Maybe it's 3 kilos. That's a good starting point. Okay. That's semi-specific. What we want to do is take your generic goal and really drill down to the heart of what is it that you actually want. So let's just pull this website off. In fact, I've probably closed the website now, but that's okay. Let's talk about it ourselves. So a specific, we're going to start with S. Specific goal. What do you want? What is your end goal? So I love this little phrase here. A goal without a plan is just a wish. So maybe in some part in the back of your mind, you're thinking, geez, I'd love to be that little bit trimmer. I'd love to be that person's level of fitness. I'd love to be able to do what's X? What is that pause for you? I'd love to be able to do a 5K run, a 10K run, a swim. I'd love to be able to be comfortable swimming 50 meters in a pool. Whatever it happens to be, you need to be really honest with yourself and say, what is my X? That is your specific measurement. For me this year, it was, I want to be able to do a half Ironman. That is my specific S. Measurable, how am I going to be able to see the progress of my goal? And that's where things like start to talk about things like statistics. So rather than just turning up each and every day and just pushing and not really measuring, we want to see how we progress over time. Now, you can do that with the aid of a personal trainer, you can do that with the aid of a Fitbit. So let's just say if you're running a 5K run, for example, the first set of metrics, and they can change over time, that might be, I'm going to start with 1K. I'm going to see how I can go, and I'm going to try and run for 1 kilometer. Then it might be I'm going to make it 1.5, then 2, then 3. Once you get up to 5K, maybe you change your measurement tool and you say, righto, I'm going to do my 5K run. I used to do it in 30 minutes. Now I'm going to try and drop it back to 28. So you then set yourself new measurable goals. Like, how close am I getting to this? And that's how you can see the progress of your goal. And it's really important to note here, I'm going to flick back to the SMART metrics here. This A for attainable, this is a really difficult concept to get around. Attainable. So we live in the age and the world at the moment where, say, you can have everything. And now I am a huge believer in that if you want to do something, you absolutely can do it. But, and it's a pretty big but, you need to be prepared to put in, and everyone says you need to put the work in, you need to try hard, yeah, cool. But you need to be able to make the sacrifices that might go with that. So what do I mean by sacrifices? Well, see, swings and balances in our lives often result in a balance like this. So this is a really cool metaphor. So you can see how we've got one big rock which is counterbalanced by 4 little rocks. So if someone was like, I want to be an astronaut. Well, the same amount of time that it's going to take to be an astronaut might be offset by having family, friends, life, sleep. So you might, to actually achieve that astronaut dream, that's what you've got to give up. And the same thing sort of applies to your fitness goals. With more time and effort applied to different things, you're going to have to make some sacrifices somewhere else. Usually, maybe you don't, maybe you're very lucky that way, but you will often have to do, you might mean, my favorite, I am not a morning person. If you want to increase your fitness, you might have to become a morning person. There are ways of dealing with that. Get coffee, go to bed earlier. Ooh, God forbid we go to bed earlier, Pete. No, don't do that. But there are things like that. You're going to have to make some trade-offs. So your attainable goal is, let's set a range of a goal that you can meet. So you want to do a 5K run? Cool, that's an attainable goal. Have you never ever run in your life? 5K is doable with time. I want to be an ultra marathon runner. If you've never run in your life, it's attainable, but not yet. So you need to be realistic, It has to be something that you are able to do. And you've got to have the capacity and the resources. If you've got 5 kids and you think, you know what, I'm going to go off and do an Ironman, the level of training that is required there would mean that you would have to neglect your kids, which is not a realistic outcome, I hope. So and that's where I'm going. You can see where I'm going with this. So your goal needs to be attainable. It needs to be relevant. So let's jump back to your specific, what's the thing you really want to do, and is it relevant to you? Is it going to make you feel better, more positive? Is it something that you actually really want to tick in life, or is it actually somebody else's goal that you're like, you know what, I need a goal for my training. I'm going to latch onto that, and I'm going to all of a sudden I'm going to join CrossFit, and I'm going to compete in the CrossFit Games, even though I hate lifting heavy weights. So the goal's got to be relevant. It's got to be your goal. Why would you do somebody else's goal? I mean, too often we follow other people's instructions and dreams and whatever. Make it your goal, man. It's all about you. And the last one is time-based. How long are you going to give yourself? So, cool. I'm going to run a 5K. I'm going to run in the Sunshine Coast Marathon. Cool. When? Which one? That's where most people fall down. So a lot of people are cool. I want to run a half marathon. Here's my training plan. Is it attainable? Yeah, cool. If you've never run before, it's going to take a little while, but is a half marathon achievable for most people? Yeah, absolutely. Is it relevant to you? Yeah. For most of us, it's a really cool thing you knock off. Tick that box. Time-based. I'm not going to commit to it yet. I'm going to get my fitness up first, then I'll commit to it. No! How does that help your motivation, my friends? No. What we need to do is, and I didn't pull up a nice little time slide, but that's okay. No. You need to be able to say, all right, I'm going to train this year for this year's half marathon, this year's Sunshine Coast Marathon. Don't do this year's if you haven't trained, because it's very, very soon. But next year. That gives you a full 12 months to train bit by bit by bit. Is it attainable? Yes, it is. Is it relevant to you? Yep. Can you measure it over 12 months? You bet. And it's something you want to do. So take 5 minutes. How long have we been recording for? About 5 minutes? That took 5 minutes to work out a goal. And it is relevant to you. It's specific, measurable, attainable, and you've got a time on it. That's going to take some deep, honest thinking in some cases. It can be really scary. So I'm not going to lie. My old man has done a couple of Ironmans now. I will go out on the internet and say the concept of doing a full Ironman scares me a lot. So even training for this half Ironman, I've had to put a lot of other stuff on hold to make sure that I can do the run, the swim, and the ride, but more importantly, all together. And it's only been in the last probably the last month, that I've felt capable of completing it in a respectable time that I'd be happy with, and it won't kill me. So sometimes you need to be honest, and I've always been able to tell myself, look, if push comes to shove, I can do an Ironman. Now I know I can. Well, I can do a half one. The thought of a full one still scares the hell out of me, but that's okay. We'll deal with that bridge, and it's probably going to be one of my next goals. Now, the other really cool thing that is involved with setting SMART goals is things like accountability. So I've just come out and I've been really honest with the internet here, and I've said how much that scares me, and that can be a really cool thing to bring up and keep you honest in your training, particularly if you set time boundaries. So too often we sort of say, yeah, look, I'll get around to that Spartan race next year, or I'll do the Tough Mudder next year, and you don't tell anyone about it. be brave with your goals. Because look, in the great scheme of things, if you don't hit your goal, so what? You've got next year, you've got next month, you've got, whenever. Be brave with those goals to step up and let someone know this is what my plan is. One, they can help you with it. So when you start to break down, you think, I can't. And you need to talk to someone, or your motivation's not quite there, someone can help you. The other one too is, and this works a lot for me, there's positive and there's negative motivation. That's not positive motivation. Negative motivation, and negative's not really probably the correct term for it, but it's the way I think of it is, you wake up some early mornings and it's cold or maybe it's raining, and if you didn't have the goal that had a time-based metric on it, you'd roll over and go, you know what, I'm going back to bed, it's too easy. But because you've got that time-based goal and you think it is coming, for me, in 3 weeks I have to do this half Ironman, you get up and go. So that's a little bit of a negative reinforcement, but it turns full circle and comes around with a positive outcome, which is a really strange way to look at some things. But look, hey, it works for me. It may not work for everyone, but it's also something that keeps that pressure on you to train. Now look, the last one is it's going to help you with your motivation. And I have got a few cute little pictures for this. Things for motivation. So this is a fairly big one for me. I'm really good with my food, and I'm really good with my drinking. But even to the level of training that I've now sort of picked up means I've had to cut back from a couple of drinks on the weekend to maybe one. So 1 glass of wine, maybe 2 at most. And what I've discovered is how much food and nutrition can make a difference to your motivation levels. So went to bed last night. I actually had a lighter dinner than I might normally. I had a lighter dinner and then just smashed water all night. Woke up this morning, I felt light. I went to the bathroom, was hydrated, felt light, came to training, punched it. Whereas if you had that glass of wine, you wake up, feel a little bit dusty. Even if you only had 1 glass, you wake up, you feel a little bit sluggish. If you had a big dinner, you feel heavy. Even if you go to the bathroom, you can't quite get all the waste out. And that straight away, you're like, I don't really want to train because I'm not feeling great. Whereas if you on the training days, if you're under the pressure of, okay, I've got this goal, I've got this target that I need to get to, then food becomes this thing of, okay, how do I use food as a training tool to get better at this goal? And the motivation to eat correctly in the correct proportions and to not go crazy on your alcohol is that motivation to say no is so much easier. The last one, and I am a huge believer, and I should have pulled some stats up on this, is sleep. This is the number 1 factor on training motivation in my book. Sleep is so important for just about everything you do. So not only concentration at work and whatnot, and this is really hard. If you got kids, I can't even begin to say that I understand. I haven't got kids. I've got friends that have got kids, and I see some of the times when what they're going through, but if at all possible, you need to get as much sleep as possible, and we are our own worst enemies. Again, those who have kids, I'm generalizing, I get that, but it is so easy to stay up and watch Netflix. You watch that one more episode. My big one is, and all the kids will have this too, is like Fortnite. One more round. Whereas if you go to bed and you wake up, when was the last time that you woke up and felt absolutely amazing? Like you went to train and you went, I have energy to burn. Honestly, when was the last time you felt you had a surplus of energy? I try and sleep as much as possible, and it's something I haven't done very well for the last month. But every now and then, you get a really good night's sleep. You sort of like 9 to 10 hours. Go to bed early, and you wake up. The difference is just, whoa! Oh my God, I feel good. And it can be literally going to bed 1 hour earlier, not watching your phone, not watching Netflix or YouTube, just putting it aside. Maybe even putting some headphones in with some meditation music, rainforest, whatever helps you get to sleep. Do that. Do it for yourself rather than say, my treat tonight is going to be ice cream. Make your treat a good night's sleep. It's amazing when you wake up with that little bit extra energy and psychologically you think, you know what, okay, cool, I can push that little bit harder in my workout. I'm going to go that little bit faster. My statistics, today is the day that my graph takes a spike. And that all comes about because of sleep. Having the energy to push yourself third person when you're in that hurt zone, and you have the energy to give yourself that third voice and say, you can hang on. That's what I'm talking about. So again, to sum all up today's podcast is SMART goals for your training, your health, and your lifestyle. Can my challenge to you be, set yourself a SMART goal tonight. What are you training for? Why are you going to the gym? Make it. Maybe, okay, look, you want to lose a little bit of weight? Cool. Set an amount that you want to lose, and why are you doing it? Not just because you want to look or feel better. Why really? Why do you want to do this training, and what is the outcome for you? How will you measure it? Is it attainable for you, and in what time frame are you going to set that goal? Use that to fuel your motivation, and as soon as that motivation or you tick that goal off runs out, set another one. Have 2, have 3. You know, I've got the half Ironman coming up, and then the week later I've got Spartan. I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll find out. But yeah, guys, look, SMART goals, set one, figure it out, be brave enough to explore yourself about why you want to do things, and be brave enough to set yourself a time frame to hit it. Cool. Have a great day, guys.